Welcome to the Sauce Pod. I have to tell you this stupid ass story that happened to me today. Literally, right when we were getting ready to record, I was like, let me just, in my typical fashion, was like, let me just drag this out until the last minute. And then, you know what? I'm not even going to put on makeup for this. I'm going to use a beauty filter or like an appearance filter that like they make for Snapchat and like for Zoom calls and shit like that. I'm like, you know what? And I'll be totally transparent around it. I'll be like, check out how cool this filter is. I'm not wearing a filter right now. I wish I fucking was, because I had to like put my face together really quick right before we jumped on, because the moral of the story here, the takeaway, is that Snap Camera no longer exists. And Snap Camera was this standalone app from Snapchat that was introduced during like the pandemic era, mainly like when everyone was so heavily into video chatting and all that kind of stuff. So in this whole situation, Snap Camera kind of came to light as like this entire standalone camera and like filters, AR filters gallery that you could choose from. Flip through it, you could take pictures right there in the app. I had it because you could actually use it as like a third-party tool anytime you were streaming or recording or doing like even like a Google Meet. You know, when you select the drop down of like which camera you want to use in any of these apps. So it would do that, and then Snap Camera would be one of the options, and then you could try all these like funny crazy filters. Some of them were really cool, some of them were like really out there. But I was like, let me just do a little Snap Camera moment and we'll see how far the technology has come. And I will just not like wear any makeup, because let's be honest, that was going to take me a little bit of time, and so I didn't want to go through the process. So I was like, make it content, fine. Fucking Snap Camera, you guys, does not exist anymore. And I was like looking, and I was like, maybe there's another option. There has to be another fucking option for this. There is no way that all of these webcam first apps like Zoom and Google and Discord and like even this streaming that we're doing right now doesn't have some plugin for like filters. Like, how have we not got to that point? We can have bold glamour on TikTok, but we can't have a fucking filter that just makes you not look like a troll who crawled out from your blankets like in a call. Come on, you guys. So anyways, I went through like 7 stages of frustration and grief, learning that like Snap Camera doesn't exist anymore. And it's just a lesson to us all that we should not rely on technology to always make us look better, especially when we're doing it at the last minute. Be wary of it. And if you're listening to this and you're like a developer or something who wants to figure out how to make filters for, I don't know, StreamYard or one of these like video recording platforms that you can just plug in, let me know. Let a sister know, because I will be all over that. I will be a test user, all of the things. I hate putting on makeup in general. I rarely wear it. And so this was like, it was an interesting lesson learned. Like, we need that bold glamour out here. Anyways, Anna, welcome back to the Sauce Pod. Thank you for being here, my co-host, editor of the Sauce newsletter, which, by the way, you guys, we have a newsletter that goes out every Monday night. So if you're not subscribed, you can check us out at thesauceffs.substack.com, and lots of good stuff in there. This week, we've got a lot to cover. We've got TikTok drama, of course. There's a lot happening there, especially in the States, especially in the northwest part of the country, a certain state called Montana. We've also got some Instagram news, some Snapchat analytics news, which is great for anyone who is building a brand or marketing on Snapchat. And then, of course, you guys know that we are all about the Twitter drama. Not that we want to be, not by our own choice, but because we are the arbiters of truth and justice in this world of Elon Musk's. And Anna has so thoughtfully taken it upon herself to do some of the digging and the research for us. And we're going to talk about, yes, a true servant of humanity. We appreciate you. Going through the trenches and finding all the Twitter dirt, but we do have some interesting updates this week that I'm looking forward to kind of dissecting and maybe just, you know, poking fun
just
at
trash
as
talking.
per usual. Yeah, exactly. Spilling the tea over. Yeah. And then last but not least, you guys, we've got some great, I don't know if that's the word. That's definitely not the word. Some terrifyingly interesting and powerful updates on the tech and tools in the AI realm. Some crazy stuff is happening, you guys, so we'll get into that. So, before we do all of that, let's get into one of the things that you outlined this week in the introduction part of the newsletter. You talked about like some of these really great prompts that you can use for ChatGPT. So, can you just like take us through a couple of those just for anyone who's
Yeah.
like listening to? You can find all of this in the last newsletter edition. So, yeah, I wondered if you could explore those for a sec.
Well, first we have to plug Taylor's wonderful, I guess, like you pulling together all these different ones. You have all of them here in the Notion page. You have to check those
Yes.
out. Check the link out in the newsletter. But I added a couple into here that I specifically tried myself that I really like.
Shouts out to Laura
Yes,
Anderson on
on
TikTok
TikTok.
too. By the way, if any of you guys ever have awesome like ChatGPT prompts, send them over because we'll add them to our like master log of stuff that we're
Yes.
curating. But what did Laura teach you?
Yeah, so the first one's competitor analysis, which I didn't even think to use ChatGPT for this, but basically you ask ChatGPT to perform an analysis of your brand compared to, say, your top 5 competitors. And then ChatGPT will assess all those differences and similarities. You can ask it, to focus on pricing, market positioning, branding, messaging. And so it'll break down all the, differences and similarities between you and your competitors. And then it'll give you like a list of actionable items to implement into your brand or your website or wherever. So I tried that one out, and the stuff I got back, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this tomorrow. And then the second one, which also is really cool, this one's especially if you're just struggling for like content ideas. We all get in a rut sometimes. You basically tell ChatGPT to act like your social media manager for your brand and create like social posts based off of, whatever, your brand name, whatever it is. Ask it to focus on, making it on brand, eye catching, maybe a little clickbaity if that's what you want. And ChatGPT gave me like this list for an entire month because that's what I asked it to do. I asked it to do it for LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok, and it gave me ideas for each one, the video like script or kind of outline for each one, the caption, and also hashtags to help that post get visibility.
That's awesome.
Some really good sample prompts that you can copy and paste in the newsletter.
The more like context and granular detail or examples that you can provide in these prompts, like the better output you'll get. And I don't think that's always going to be the case. We're already seeing some shifts as these like language models are getting better and better at picking up on like the nuance and like without as much context. I saw this guy input like a drunk message into Chat GPT on like Reddit or something. He's like, I wrote this note while I was like blackout drunk and I don't know what it says. And Chat GPT basically like transcribed it, if you will.
Translated it
Yeah,
real
translated
words.
it like, yeah, bumbling like drunk text into actual, like, what were you trying to communicate here?
So next time before you text your ex when you're drunk, put it to ChatGPT first, ask it to rewrite it and make it sound like English or whatever language,
Oh
and copy and paste that.
Wait, I have one more story on this note just because I think it's so funny. Somebody else on Reddit was like, I fucking hate my job and I use ChatGPT to be able to like rewrite my emails in the way that I want to send them so that I don't get fired. And so he's like, here's an example. He posted some screenshots and he was like, listen here, Karen, you fucking idiot. Why can't you ever get anything in on time? You're a useless piece of shit. He just goes on and on. And then ChatGPT, so he had created this like mega prompt for ChatGPT to understand that he was like, this is how I talk and I need you to rewrite it in a way that like helps me not get fired and has a sense of professionalism. So then ChatGPT comes back and is like, hello, Karen, it's come to my attention. Like this whole like standard corporate jargon canned response. It was so
That's
funny, you guys.
amazing. I need to do that.
So the takeaway is that right now it does help to give context into these language models around what you're trying to create and like some background or examples or even like synopses or quick summaries of some of like the brands, for example, in the competitive analysis one. So it's not always going to be like that, but for now, you guys play around with those prompts because they're so much fun too. You can do a lot
Mm-hmm.
of weird stuff. So in that one that we linked in the newsletter, the one that I did a workshop on last week, you can find the Notion doc with all those prompts. And there's a couple fun ones too. Like you can write a Reddit rant if that was ever something you
I'm
wanted.
going to try this one once
Yeah,
we're done.
it's fun. It's fun. So let's get into some of the news that we've got this week. Tell us the TikTok drama. What the hell is happening in Montana?
Yeah, so, while the US government is kind of, looking at this at a nationwide level of banning TikTok, Montana passed a bill to block downloads of TikTok within, the state. So if the state's governor signs the bill, which everyone's expecting him to, Montana will become the first state to ban TikTok.
My God.
If you already have the app downloaded, that doesn't really affect you. So if you want TikTok and you don't want to download it and you live in Montana, download it. And it's not exactly clear how they're going to enforce this ban. So any app stores that, are I guess, if you're downloading the app TikTok from an app store within
Mhm.
Montana, the app store will be fined 10,000 grand per download.
That doesn't even, how, like, yeah, how are they going to enforce this?
I don't know, but the user will not, necessarily get into trouble for downloading it, but the app or app store will
So they're like really, they're putting the impetus on the app stores who
to
are
figure it
basically
out,
like the
basically.
gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, this is on you guys. And you know what's funny is, I mean, this really fucking sucks for Montana, number one. But this is like the most Montana thing that Montana could do. If I had to think of like one thing Montana could do, it'd be like banning TikTok. Like, of course they fucking would. They're Montana. I love that for them
Yeah.
though. They're just like, no.
TikTok is planning to sue, I guess, Montana to challenge it. So
What?
there's that. Let's
Oh
just
my
sue
God.
everybody at this point.
Especially Elon Musk. And I also heard the news that like it still has to be signed by the governor because it's like
Mm-hmm.
all the lawmakers voted, which is, I guess it's expected that he's going to sign it. At least that's what the general consensus is. So I was reading somewhere, I might have to fact check this, but I was reading somewhere that if this law is passed, it would go into effect like January 2024, which sucks too because I feel like that puts a timer on things.
Right.
TikTok creators are like, okay, let me do my dances for like 6 more months, like 5 more months until the TikTok ban,
Yeah.
4 more
Follow
months
me on
until the
Instagram. Yeah.
yeah. They do like a countdown,
Yeah. Get off of TikTok and follow them on YouTube
countdown
or
to TikTok.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, guys. Well, if you're living in Montana and you're listening to this, which
We're
is
sorry.
doubtful, but we're sorry. And also go get your shit on YouTube because that's where
Yeah.
it's at right now for shorts, especially. So, all right. Well, that's happening. And then what about the like advertising growth or ad spend growth that's happening on TikTok?
Yeah, so this one was just cool to see, even though there's this potential nationwide ban and mostly definitely potential ban in Montana. Ad spend on TikTok in the US grew 6% month over month in March. And then it's grown 30% year over year.
Okay.
And out of the top 5 categories that advertise on TikTok, consumer packaged goods brands increase ad spend the most, growing 81% year over year
Wow.
in the first quarter of 2023. DoorDash, Pepsi, and Amazon are among some of the biggest spenders on there, at least in Q1. So,
Interesting. So there's a lot of talk about like the economy. Obviously, like we're kind of entering recession era, and so that impacts the advertising and media industries astronomically because budget cuts and oftentimes
mhm.
ad spend is like one of the top marketing expenses to go. So the fact that TikTok saw a little bit of a boost and is growing 81% year over year with ad spend is like good signs, I think. At
Mhm.
least good
Mhm.
signs that TikTok's ad product is still going strong. So if
Yeah.
you're looking for a place to get some ads put in that isn't Meta, Snapchat and TikTok, man, those seem to be the places right now.
Hate using Facebook's ad platform, any of it. I hate all of it. Yeah, I'm already mad. I have to calm down. Hang on.
I need to go do a breathing exercise. Yeah, it gives me, like, hot flashes at any time I think of being in, like, Meta Ads Manager, but, I don't know what that says about me more than anything. Oh, it's craziness. TikTok 10-minute videos, right, are going away. What is, like, with that? Or at least that's the rumor.
There wasn't an official announcement, which I think is kind of worrying. At least Instagram gives us, or we hear about it somehow, that
Yeah.
there's, it's going away or there's a new one coming up. But it seems like TikTok isn't making any official announcement regarding this change. So I don't know if it's a glitch, but it's definitely been a glitch for a while. So users are starting to notice that the 10-minute video option is gone. So you can still upload a 10-minute video if you've already recorded it on your phone, but you can't record, like, on the TikTok platform, you can't record any longer than 3 minutes.
Interesting.
That's the only option the app is giving you right now. So it's kind of weird.
I wonder, like, if that is based on, like, user behavior at all, or if that's,
Oh,
like,
it definitely
genuinely just a
is.
glitch. Because from my own personal experience and what a lot of my friends have experienced too, is like, I never really watch those long TikTok videos anyways. I mean, and that's part of the attention span or the lack thereof that we have and what TikTok has conditioned us to.
Right. It's not the reason you go on TikTok because TikTok
Right.
has always been a short form video. So you're not going on TikTok expecting to sit there for 10 minutes watching the same video.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I wonder if we had a graph of, like, what the user experience correlation of that would look like if that was a direct, consideration. I would assume so.
Mhm.
And not only that, but, like, we know that Twitter's trying to go hard on video, right? And they've, like, made, like, full length 90-minute fucking video clips.
Like, are they? They
That's
said
what
they
they've
are, but
said.
I've never seen them.
That's what they've said. Don't shoot the messenger.
Well, maybe just nobody. Everyone's like, no, I'm not going to post that on Twitter. I'm going to post it on YouTube. Maybe that's
Yeah,
just what
like, can we all just, like, mutually agree? Like, can all of us online just be like, YouTube and Vimeo are where we put videos, okay? None of these other
horizontal. Yeah.
platforms need that. But
Nope.
I digress. Okay, well, we'll look out and keep a pulse on that one because I feel like it was just yesterday or like a couple months ago that TikTok like made this big splashy announcement that like long form videos are coming to
It was about a
TikTok.
year ago,
Was
actually.
it? Oh
Or at
my
least
god.
10-minute videos was about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we shall see, you guys. We shall see.
Let's see.
Let's talk about Snapchat. I love a good Snapchat story. So,
Yeah.
what's going on with Rockerbox and Snapchat?
I've never heard of Rockerbox, but Snapchat is like teaming up with them to give creators and brands like better marketing insights into their ads. So before their insights weren't amazing. So now with Rockerbox, you're gonna be able to see each ad element that is, performing across Snapchat, just making it
Mhm.
easier to like kind of optimize and promote your ads. We've talked
Mhm.
about Snapchat ads a couple times. They seem
Mhm.
to, definitely be pushing. I, as a user, do not like Snapchat ads, just a PSA.
Really? Why?
Because when I go onto Snapchat to watch something, I'm normally watching like kind of I guess they call it the subscriptions on there.
Mhm.
So when I'm and normally the ones that I follow are like a whole story, the
Mhm.
video, and you kind of go through the different pages on Snapchat, and then you'll just get on like this 5-second ad, and you can't skip it, and it's just loading, and I feel like it's never personalized to me, or maybe I'm just angry that the ad is there. I just don't like the fact that I can't skip the ad. It just
Yeah.
makes me mad. It's the
Like,
same
there's
thing with
no way
YouTube, but that's
out.
just me. That's
I
me and my
know.
like attention span.
No, I know.
Yeah, there's no way out. But Snapchat, is making, I think, making their money off their subscription, their Snapchat Plus, as well as their ads. But they have 750 million monthly users. So
It's a good chunk. It's a good market share, and, like, even Gen Z is all over it, which is so funny because, like, when Snapchat came out, it was, like, the millennial thing, and I don't even know, younger, like, maybe my late teens or early 20s, and, like, that was the place to be. Everyone was
yeah,
on it, and then, like, the millennials have kind of abandoned it, like, ironically enough, and Gen Z is like all over it. And so it's still a great place between that and TikTok to reach those younger demographics, which is awesome to have a space for that. Not Meta. Another thing that's not Meta or Twitter. We love it.
speaking of Twitter,
God, here we go. Brace yourself. I feel like we need to deliver the Twitter news always in like a meditative, like calming tone of voice, because it is so much.
It
It
is a lot.
is it's been a lot for a while, and there's some stuff that I want to add context onto a little bit, but like let's start off the top. Tell us who the latest like big hitter to leave Twitter is and why.
Yeah, so NPR, or National Public Radio, is like they're not deleting their accounts, but they're planning to not post on their accounts anymore. So Twitter basically put a state affiliated media tag on their account, I guess last week. NPR objected to that label because that label is basically equating them to news sites that are notorious for like spreading government propaganda, like China Daily and Russia Today. So they were like, no, that's
Yeah.
not us, because the NPR only or receives less than 1% of its 300 million annual budget from federally funded grants. So they're like, no, that's not us. So then Twitter changed the tag to government funded media. So NPR was like, no.
They're like, we're fucking done. That was the last
Yeah,
straw. We're
we're just
out.
we're not posting on Twitter anymore. And then NPR isn't the only one. There's also PBS confirmed that they stopped tweeting on April 8th. So they didn't delete their accounts either. They just,
Mhm.
not going to use the platform anymore. They're not going to log back in because they also received a government funded label on
Oh
their
my God.
account. So,
Well, guys, like if there's anything, this is a big story because it points to the bigger picture of all the headlines right now. If you look at Twitter, any of the editorialized headlines will say stuff like Twitter is dying a slow death. And this is part of that, I think.
Mhm.
I love Twitter. I really do. I love the people on it, but like I don't think that there will be a place for Twitter in the long term of things, even maybe in the next 5 years. And you have some additional background info on that as well, which before we get onto that though, like let's talk about these Twitter execs suing. Literally, as if it couldn't get any worse. It's just like a fucking dumpster fire, you guys. It's like comical, but like it sucks because it's like watching like your childhood home burn. But
Yeah.
like the events leading up to it were like just so bizarre that you don't know how to feel. And like that's how all of this is. So what the fuck are these execs doing?
Yeah, so they're suing for over $1 million in legal fees that they were never reimbursed for. That's just what's happening. I
Yeah.
didn't do too much digging into it. They're just suing. Yeah.
Including ex-CEO, if you guys recall,
Mhm.
who was
Mhm.
running Twitter as the CEO before Elon Musk took over, Parag Agrawal,
Yeah.
and he's part of this, who knows,
Yeah.
class action lawsuit at this point. Oh my God. And they're just like, that's just like one fraction, I'm sure, of the like
Oh,
lawsuits that have
right.
been
Right.
hounding Twitter.
100%.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay, and then tell me about this BBC interview, which I find fascinating.
Oh, there was so much chaos. It was a very chaotic interview. So if you remember, we talked about this. It was a long time ago, but Musk put out a poll saying like, should I still be head of head of Twitter? Sorry, and
Mhm.
if I'm gonna abide by the results of this poll, and I forget the percentages, but the overwhelming result was no, you should not. So he confirmed that his dog is now CEO. His dog Floki.
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
that's how you pronounce his dog's name, but the dog is now CEO. Musk sometimes he sleeps in his office. He let us know. He also told us that he only bought Twitter because he felt like he had to, and he would actually sell the site to the right buyer. I don't know who the right buyer would be, but the right buyer. I also was going to say that in there, he also, I guess, from the 7,000 employees that when he took on the company that he started with, they're now down to about 1,500. Twitter data center that Elon shut down in December of 2022. He admitted that that was quite catastrophic. And he also let us know, after telling us all that, that Twitter's on the path of being cash flow positive within months.
Oh my God, no words. It's like my God, it's like just watching, yeah, it's like watching the house burn down, but
Yeah.
at least we're safe across the street maybe. Well, I mean, a lot of suspicions confirmed, obviously, the speculation that, like, he was pressured into buying Twitter, whether that was a bluff or not. I need to go back and watch this full interview, but I'm so glad that you included context in it because it kind of pulls the curtain back a little bit into this, like, enigma of a person who's just tipped the ship upside down in the middle of a hurricane that is Twitter. And then let's talk about I wanna get into this a little bit too, and by the way, we still can't I know we talked about this last week, but we still can't embed tweets on
Nope.
Substack. And so wanted to go a little bit into the beef between Substack and Twitter and Substack's
Yeah.
new Notes, which by the way, you guys, we are on now, so come find us
Yes.
on Notes. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Twitter took action. Like you said, we can't
Mhm.
embed any Twitter links into our Substack post. You also can't like or retweet posts containing the word Substack. It adds like a warning message if users try to click on Substack links that are on Twitter. And I think I didn't check this one for myself, but I read that they're blocking the word Substack from even being searched.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. So that's just
Confirmed.
very, very aggressive. It's just a lot.
Mhm.
So I guess Chris Beast, which I actually don't, is he head of, do you know, is he head of Substack?
I don't know, actually.
Or sorry, Best. Chris Best.
Yes, he's the founder and CEO of Substack.
Okay, he is the founder. Okay. So he basically put out like a little PSA on Substack notes, not on
Mhm.
Twitter, that Substack links, have obviously been severely throttled on Twitter and they've used the Twitter APIs for years to help writers. And I guess there was some drama with the Matt
Yeah,
Tabai.
remember? I talked about it last week. He was the Twitter
Oh,
Files
yeah.
writer. I
Okay,
know.
okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So you guys go listen to last week's pod because there was, like, a good scoop
Oh,
on
it's
this
all
guy,
tying
Matt
it
Taibbi.
together.
Yeah, he's the one that released and wrote the so-called Twitter Files Part 1 and Part 2 that Elon Musk teased out and really didn't really say much about how Twitter uses and handles their data before his takeover. So he was like besties with Elon for a minute. This is like, guys, this is like the real secret sauce right here. This is like the Gossip
Yeah,
Girl
the
version.
tea.
We
Yes.
are the, yes, we are the digital Gossip Girls. And here's what happened. Matt was like, okay, Elon, I will write, your Twitter files, whatever. He wrote them in a long thread and it was like a whole thing. And then obviously Elon promoted and pushed those out to the public and dropped them as the Twitter files. So they were officially written by Matt Taibbi. I don't know how to say his name. I'm so sorry, Matt. And then when like Elon announced this whole Substack situation last week or the week before, Matt was like, "Fuck this. I'm out. I don't want to be part of it." Like you're saying that you support writers, but you're basically deprioritizing content for writers or a platform for writers who are using Substack to actually monetize, which by the way, there's like nothing you can do to monetize on Twitter right now besides tips, which nobody's doing. And so Matt and Elon broke up. Elon stopped following him. Matt declared his intentions to basically disassociate himself from Twitter and go
Mhm.
full on Substack because that is where he wants his readers to find him. And so that became like obviously a point of contention in all of this drama. So I guess in Chris Best's perspective, he's saying that Matt is not an employee of Substack.
I think Elon was like basically saying, "Oh, Matt, is became Witten became an employee of Substack." So Matt is letting us know that he only writes
Got
on
it. Okay.
Substack and gets paid directly by his paid subscribers or readers. And I like how he ended it. He's like, "This is very frustrating. It's one thing to mess with Substack, but quite another to treat writers this way." Elon snaps back and was like, Substack links were never ever blocked. That statement is completely false. But Substack was trying to download a massive portion of the Twitter database to bootstrap their Twitter clone notes. So their IP address is obviously untrustworthy.
Oh my god.
And then he was like, yeah, it turns out Matt is/was an employee of Substack. And he didn't have proof. He didn't have any substantial proof for this. He just
I just wonder Like, I would truly love to be a fly on the wall in Elon Musk's day to day because, like, what does this man do if he's sitting here beefing with people on Twitter? Like, I get that he owns the platform now. I get that he wants to, like, be in touch with his audience and his, fans or whatever.
I don't know if that's what he's going for.
No, it's not. Like,
He's just pissing people off.
he is like the definition of an internet troll who like just has a lot of money and a lot of ideas and people listen to him. And granted some of his ideas have been amazing. He's a very intelligent person in other
Mhm.
ways. But when it
Mhm.
comes to this, like what the fuck? I can imagine him being like because he was with Grimes, like, Grimes, shut up. I need to respond to my like Twitter beef. I'm getting like I'm not in the algorithm anymore or
Not
whatever.
the algorithm.
Like Matt is blowing me up again.
I need them to boost my post by 150%. Yeah.
Oh my god, I need SNL to do like a skit on this if they haven't already. That
Oh,
would
that
be
would
so
be
funny.
wonderful. Yeah.
Anyways, so okay, so that was like Elon going back and forth with Substack. As of now, we know that there is no existing plans to amend or like fix the situation. But we do know that Notes has launched on Substack and we're going to be testing it out. So if you guys want to see how Notes works or want to maybe just move off of Twitter, come find us over on Substack. It works literally just like Twitter. So it's like you get like your social feed, writers of the publication can post, the publication themselves can post, you can engage and respond to people. So it'll be interesting to see how Notes shakes out if people really use
Yeah.
it. So far I've gotten a really good vibe off of there and a lot of interaction. So I'm excited to see kind of how it all comes together. But the last piece of news that you shall leave us with, which is like slapped me in the face when I read this. What the fuck?
Twitter doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, technically they, obviously they do, but Twitter's merged with X Corp. So it's becoming part of Elon Musk, like X Holdings Corporation, which is like his, or what he aims to be his parent company for all of his businesses, like SpaceX, Tesla, etc. So this move, I think what he's trying to do is, transform Twitter into the everything app that he's been talking about. It's his next step, I think, in his plan to kind of change it into a everything app similar to China's WeChat.
I mean, we've been talking about that for months too, like since he took office. He's been talking about doing, between Twitter 2.0 and like what was he calling it earlier? Like Operation X or it was just X is
Probably.
the social app that we had early rumors of. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
so, all the writings on the wall of like, this is a play of dismantling Twitter piece by piece until it's no longer Twitter anymore. And it's something completely different and still maybe has a little bit of a user base, but is not even, it's like a far cry from what Twitter at one point was. And probably the
Hmm.
next thing will come with a more formal rebrand, name change. Wouldn't be surprised. I'm still waiting for all of these cool new features to drop on Twitter because I know
Yeah.
that bolds and italics are out, but I don't see it anywhere. Maybe because I'm not on Twitter Blue. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're done with Twitter. So I'm ready to like turn the page to the next chapter in my brain. We haven't talked about Instagram updates, right?
Yeah, so this is the update we've all been waiting for in Instagram, but we've had on TikTok since like the beginning of TikTok.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
Instagram's like closing the gap between its editing tools compared to TikTok's editing tools. So there will be a page where you'll be able to find like all of the top trending songs, audios, hashtags,
Nice. Okay.
videos, topics, like all those top ones that you can find on TikTok. You're going to be able to find that on Instagram finally. There's going to be a unified editing screen, which if you've ever tried to edit something in Instagram, just don't. Just don't do it in Instagram. So
No.
hopefully this will give you a better editing experience. There's also a timeline editing feature, which gives you like a smooth audio, video alignment and transitions. Again, very similar to TikTok's. This one I'm very excited about. Better performance analytics. So you'll be able to track the total watch time of your reel,
Oh, nice.
replays, average watch time, and then new followers from specific reels. So you'll be able to see what specific follower, or at least hopefully this is what they're saying, you'll be able to see what specific follower follows you from whatever specific reel. That's really cool. That one I'm very excited about.
Nice.
And then there will also be, whenever a fan gives a creator a gift, you'll be able to tap like a heart icon and like it, so that you're able to, like, recognize and kind of appreciate the fan who sent you that virtual gift.
Okay.
Before, you didn't have that option. You just kind of received the gift.
Instagram has been holding out on us.
I
Like,
know.
Masuri, what are you doing over there?
I
You're
don't know why it
waiting
took
till
so
the
long.
last minute to give us all these great updates. These are going to be awesome for creators because especially some of the analytics insights that they're adding in around Reels. We all know that like there is always probably going to be a push for Reels even though, Instagram's like, "Oh, but we still like photos." It's
Yeah.
Reels.
Yep.
So, like, especially for Reels creators, this will be a good one. Sorry that you guys can't get monetized at the moment, but even like the editing features, like the alignment and transition stuff is a pretty big deal because the in-app editor fucking sucks right now. And some of those performance analytics, you guys, that is where it's at. That's how you improve and iterate on your content. That'll give a little bit deeper look into like, maybe where some of those followers or audience members are coming from. So, and then there was another one, right? Like a leaked feature, potential
Hmm.
feature for hiding your followers. What is that? I would be down for that.
Yeah, so Instagram's working to basically, it's an optional privacy feature that you can turn on, where you'll be able to like hide your follower list, not your follower count, but just, hide
Mhm.
the names of people that follow you. Which is kind of cool if you want to have a little more control over your privacy,
Yeah.
especially if you're a big public figure and then you don't want to broadcast everyone that follows you. You just turn it off.
Well, I think that that's like it's interesting because that's sort of a shift that I've seen in other platforms too, right? Like we just talked about Substack in Substack Notes. One of the things that I really love about Substack is this focus on the creation, the writing, the content itself, and not the like
Mhm.
vanity metrics that come with it.
Mhm.
So you go to somebody's profile on Substack and you can't see how many people follow them. You can't see how many people they follow. You just know because you read their work and you like their content, like it sort of just removes that like false barrier or like this false reflection of, where we position our impressions
Right.
of other creators. So there's something to be said about it. I don't have enough brain power right now to go and dissect it all, but I think that this is a really interesting feature and it's definitely one that I would like to take advantage of if it comes out. I'm all about like those little privacy settings on especially on my personal stuff. This is cool. Into
Yeah.
it.
100%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, dude, we've got some AI scoops to power through. Quite a few of them today. Anna, do you want to lead with the Hustle GPT latest? And I didn't even click through and read all of it from the newsletter because I wanted to hear it from you. So
Yeah.
give me the updates on Hustle GPT.
Yeah. So this one happened March 15th. A designer and self proclaimed AI soothsayer, Jackson Greathouse Fall, basically started this experiment. So he told GPT-4, like, hey, you're now Hustle GPT and
Mhm,
you are an
mhm.
entrepreneurial AI. So I want you to turn $100 into a profitable business, nothing illegal, no manual labor. And Fall basically kept us updated daily for 30 days. So basically, the business plan that Hustle GPT proposed was to set up an affiliate marketing site for content surrounding eco friendly products. And then
Mhm.
he found a cheap domain name called Green Gadget Guru that he only paid $8.16. And basically, he, asked it to create prompts to input into Dolly 2 to make a logo.
Mhm.
So he basically, Hustle GPT helped him build this website. And then because he went viral or part of the reason why he went viral on TikTok, so he started to get money from investors. He got 7.8 thousand in investments. And then by March
Wow.
22nd, his site is worth 18K.
That's awesome.
He has slowed down on the updates. He does have a Discord that we didn't
Okay.
link in here, but he does have a Discord server that you can like log into to check out updates on what's going on with his Green Gadget Guru Hustle GPT business.
Oh, interesting.
But he did say he's not going to be putting as much work into it as he
Mhm.
has been because he has other work. But yeah, he took $100 and turned it into 18K using ChatGPT. So
I love these types of like stories that revisit when a creator starts either a challenge or a promise to themselves or some
Mhm.
sort of like serialized content. I love going through and seeing if they adhered to their word. And I think that's part of just like human intrigue, and it's a really great content tactic of,
Mhm.
I see this all the time on different platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter, where people are like, I want to reach like 5K followers in 100 days. Like, join me on this journey. Do you think I'll make it? And yeah, it's a little bit like tacky and kind of like, eh. But I think that there's ways to do it that's kind of interesting. And clearly, with this Hustle GPT project, it worked out really well, despite not even falling through at the end. Like, this guy still made money and he made it into a viral piece of content. So
Mhm.
the takeaway there for creators and entrepreneurs, anyone building online, is like, these challenges, if you have one in mind, like, you should just go for it. Not only will it hold you accountable to trying it, but people will be intrigued to see that the human element of like, will they, won't they? It's cool.
Right.
Thanks
Yeah.
thanks for including that one. I've got a couple more AI updates, you guys. Last week on our weekly AI Spaces, which you can join at any time on Twitter Spaces. Well, join at any time. Join at any Friday. We do them every Friday afternoon Eastern Time, but you can listen to the recording at any time because they are recorded. And we are joined by the hive mind of some of the best and brightest AI minds in the creator and entrepreneurial space on Twitter. And it is truly like just such a treat to like sit back and hang out with those people. So one of the topics that we dove into last week was auto GPT, which, if you haven't heard of it yet, is crazy. You might be hearing people say AI agents, or you might be hearing about these so-called AI agents online. And essentially what that is the workings of auto GPT, which is, to explain it shortly, it's a new AI tool. It uses GPT-4, which is the latest GPT model for language. This AI tool basically will perform like human level tasks. So whether it's like admin stuff, whether it's technical coding, whatever it is, and it uses again the API for GPT-4. And a lot of people are calling it like an example of AGI. And if you don't know what AGI is, that's artificial general intelligence, which means that it can learn in real time and like adapt to new situations based on the context around it without specific prompts. So that's what makes like ChatGPT so effective, is that it learns from the
Mhm.
context. So with Auto GPT, and I will link to in the newsletter. So if you're listening to this a couple days from now, definitely go check it out. But some of the examples that people have gone through, because essentially Auto GPT, all you need is an open AI access key, which unfortunately there's a wait list for. And then you need to have like a terminal, like, I don't know, somewhere on your device to store it. And what it does is it creates like high quality text memory, accesses the internet. It can basically take over your entire computer to do the
Oh
tasks that you prompt it
gosh.
to. Yeah. And obviously like adoption right now is pretty limited because it's very like constrained to people who have that API key,
Mhm.
but it definitely is insane. So in some of the examples I've seen people say things, having it prompt to go out and find like some sales leads and then qualify 5 of them and send personalized messages to each of them, and then it just executes and goes out and does it on your computer because it has permission and access to all of your different, drives and stuff.
So you're saying I could like start 5 jobs at once and
Yes.
have this thing just run it for me? That's
Yeah.
insane.
That's basically what this thing is. And there's a lot of use cases, obviously. And then there's also some of the downsides, which is like, if you've heard of
Yeah.
Chaos GPT, which we were talking about, is this
Scary.
project of an anonymous open source AI agent that's been tasked to destroy humanity among some other goals. And its task is to bring about the end of our species. And it's essentially, again, part of like the entire framework of like Auto GPT. It didn't work well. But it is it runs on a continuous model, right? So like apparently its first go at trying to like end the species didn't work out, right? It couldn't find any
That's
nukes.
good.
The bots like its first go-to for destroying the world was like delegating tasks or something like that. I don't even know. And so then it caused itself to shut down throughout it. So it's like an ongoing project, but I think it is again one of those projects that are created to test the limits of this technology and to see
Mhm.
what it would come up with like kind of in real time. So there's a couple other tools like what is it? Baby AGI. Baby AGI is basically like a pared down version of Auto GPT. And I think that you can
Oh.
access it through I don't know how you can access it, so I won't even talk about it. But that's what I've heard. So there's if you hear words like Auto GPT, what that is, or AI agents, that's what it refers to is an AI that expands beyond just like language processing and generating imagery, but actually extends to like automating and carrying out and executing tasks as part of what it's been instructed to do. It basically will just take over your whole computer. It's craziness. On the other side of the spectrum, Amazon decided to throw their hat into the ring of AI, generative AI tools, and has come out with Bedrock as well as Titan FMs. And Amazon Bedrock is basically, I say that wrong, Bedrock. It's Bedrock. Amazon Bedrock is essentially like a new service that makes all of their foundation models, that's what FMs is, accessible via Amazon's API. Like, so that means that people who are using like AWS and all of the cloud servers and cloud computing will have access to all of these foundational models as part of this larger product roll of Amazon Bedrock. And then the Titan foundation models is the first generative large language model that Amazon has released. And that, of course, it functions similar to ChatGPT or GPT-4. It's the summarization, the text generation, classification, information extraction, all of that kind of stuff. So that is Bedrock and Titan. And then, oh, another update too is Zapier for any of you marketers or tech people who use Zapier for your integration. Zapier's been around for years and years, and it's been kind of a go-to lifesaver for me in the past. I don't know if you use it at all, Anna, but love Zapier.
No, yeah, we use it. I love Zapier. Makes life easier.
It makes it so much faster and easier to integrate things, especially if you have like API keys and stuff to do it. So Zapier has added a suite of new AI features to its different interfaces. It's no code tools. It lets users create interactive pages and apps. And now one can create customized ChatGPT powered bots, which is awesome because it'll do it all for you. You can embed these GPT bots anywhere. You can trigger automations, which is even better because that's what Zapier is for, is those integrations and automations.
Right.
So you can trigger AI enabled automations based on chat response. So check that out. Zapier's definitely been hitting it hard, and good on them too, because as we know, these AI frameworks are going to be built into everything, all of the tools that we use in the coming years. So good for Zapier for jumping on the bandwagon earlier than most and enabling it so other people can use those features. It's good stuff. Oh, and then what about this AI can probably crack your password? Tell me about that.
So, a cybersecurity firm called Home Security Heroes
Mm-hmm.
basically put an AI powered password cracking tool called PassScan to the test against like 15 million plus passwords to see if it could crack it. I don't remember the exact numbers and I don't have them written down, but it
Mm-hmm.
couldn't crack all of them at the first go. It like got 50% of them, but they kept running it and eventually got to the point where it cracked like I think almost 100% of them,
Oh my god.
which is scary. So, of course, the usage of this pass scan tool isn't like widespread. Not everybody has access to it, but it could also be used to generate crack proof passwords. So it could, be used
Yeah.
either to hurt,
Use for
harm, or to,
good, not
yeah,
for
yeah,
evil. Oh
exactly. So you don't need to reset every password you ever had yet, but
my god.
it's a
This
little nerve wracking.
technology. We are living in an era of like warp speed advancement where the trajectory of growth with which all of this technology is like advancing is like a
Yeah.
parabolic exponential increase. It's so insane how we've just been sitting back and talking about this era that we're in for years and years of like, oh, one day the technology will be there and like life will be crazy, things will shift. But like, guys, we are in it, and there is
Yeah.
a transformational shift happening with the way that we do things. It's like modern thinkers and AI enthusiasts or thought leaders have talked about, this being similar to like an industrial revolution era in the way that we work and in the way that we create productivity essentially across every type of industry. It's going to eliminate jobs, but it's also going to create so many new ones. And so I'm
Mhm.
I'm excited. I'm on board. It does feel like a lot to be in this place right now where it's like constant updates. And Anna, you and I are trying to keep our pulse on it as much as we can, but sometimes it feels like flying through, like just like plates flying at the wall.
Yeah.
But we are here to talk through it. So we'll keep pulse definitely on the AI stuff and continue adding on to it every week. One of the things I thought about doing, Anna,
Mhm.
was like a quick bullet hit list every week of like all the major ones, because as you guys know, we like to expand on all these headlines a little bit. Like, we don't just like to throw it up there with a link, like to give a little bit of context and background. But there's so much always happening in the AI space that we sometimes can only choose like three or four things if we're lucky, if we can squeeze it in. Substack also has a word count limit. But maybe we'll start doing like a little like bullet list or some sort of like cool roundup that brings more of it into the fold. Maybe that's
Mhm.
just a separate newsletter. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
There's a lot to talk about always.
Always. All right. Well, I think we covered everything.
I think we did.
I
We did
think we
good.
did. All right. Well,
Made it.
Anna, another week on the Sauce Pod, another week of our Sauce newsletter. Thank you for being here. And again, thank you for
Thank you.
sifting through the waters of the tumultuous waters of Twitter this week.
You're welcome.
And thank you guys for listening through it. Definitely check out what we have going on our Substack. And don't forget that you can listen to the Sauce Pod anywhere that you stream your podcasts. We also have the video up on YouTube every week if you fancy a
Mhm.
video audio format instead of just the audio format. And yeah, I can't wait to get into stuff next week. I also wanted to mention that we are winding down, I should say, our 12-week community building cohort. And we've got a lot of really exciting content, some seriously valuable stuff that we're rolling up and going to just like release in a big package. So if you want access to everything that we've learned over the last 12 weeks, including all of the creator workshops, the different content activations, the community activations, the plans, the templates, everything that we've done and kind of bundled up into a nice package. It's basically like a creator starter kit. You could find me on Twitter, where I'll be, of course, tweeting about it as well as we get close to releasing that, hopefully later this week. So I will let you guys know. But thanks for sticking with us on this week's episode of the Sauce Pod, and we will catch you back next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Hey guys, that's a wrap for this week's episode of the Sauce Pod. Hope you enjoyed yourself, maybe even learned a thing or two. Don't forget, you can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also subscribe to our newsletter that goes out every Monday night. All of the latest and greatest tips, news, and trends for content creators and digital entrepreneurs. Until next time, stay saucy.